everybody, welcome to another great recipe. If you are new here, welcome, and if you have already subscribed, welcome back. Today, I'm going to show you guys how I make the perfect baked mac and cheese. You interested and want to see this recipe? Please keep on watching.
Cooking made easy. Before we get started with our baked mac and cheese, we're first going to boil our pasta. Yes, season it with salt, but do not add oil because oil will prevent the sauce from sticking on the pasta. So we're just going to boil the pasta until it gets al dente, and also do not overcook the pasta. We're just going to add the pasta and put the lid back on and allow it to cook for 8 minutes. While our pasta is cooking, we are going to present all of our ingredients. One thing about me, when I'm making oven baked mac and cheese, I like to fill it with a lot of cheese. My family love when it is extra cheesy, so do not be alarmed by the amount of cheese that you are seeing because I am making 2 big trays. So now we have some chopped cheddar, we have some heavy whipping cream, 2 eggs, we have some evaporated carnation milk. This is one of the secrets. If you want to make the best oven baked mac and cheese, you have to use evaporated milk. We also have some butter. For seasoning, I have some paprika and some annatto. I hope I'm saying it right. Seasoning salt. I have some Laughing Cow Swiss cheese. I am using the original Colby Jack cheese. I already cut those into small pieces. And I have some Montgomery Jack cheese with jalapeno peppers and some shredded mozzarella cheese. One thing that this recipe is missing is Velveeta cheese, but you can also subsidize for other cheese, which is why I am adding the Laughing Cow Swiss cheese and some heavy whipping cream. Now that the elbow pasta is ready, we are going to move everything aside and start mixing everything together. And real quick guys, while I am adding the butter, yes, it is good to mix everything while the pasta is still hot. However, make sure you are not doing it when it is super hot because you do not want to cook the eggs while you are mixing it together. So I just added some butter and I added the 2 battered eggs and we are going to mix it well. As I mentioned, I am mixing it while it is hot so that the butter and some of the cheese can melt. However, be careful on how hot you do this because you do not want to cook the eggs. And now I'm gonna add some seasoning salt. Give it a good mix. After I added the seasoning salt, I'm going to add a good amount of the annatto. And I'm also going to add some paprika. And this is a process, guys. Even though you see that it's looking red, trust, at the end, it's not going to look like that. So we are going to keep mixing well and make sure everything is fully combined. Next, we are going to add the heavy whipping cream. One thing about this recipe is each time you add an ingredient, make sure you mix it well. Now we are going to add a whole cup of the evaporated milk. We're using the whole can. And we are going to add more than half of the pepper jack cheese. And we're also going to add more than half of the shredded mozzarella cheese. And the rest of the pepper jack and the mozzarella cheese, I'm just going to mix them together. We are also going to add the Colby Jack cheese. And we are going to add the Laughing Cow cheese. Now that we added the remaining of the ingredients, we are going to mix it well until everything is fully combined. And this is the longest process when making this recipe in my opinion. Now we are going to mix everything together until it is fully combined. And while we are mixing it together, we are going to continue to add more evaporated milk. Now that everything is fully combined, we are going to add another can of the evaporated milk and mix it well. And if you are new here, my name is Claude Mott. I am the owner and founder of Le Bongo Seasoning, Le Bongo Seasoning is an e-commerce website where we sell organic meat seasoning, organic green seasoning, organic hot pepper sauce, organic barbecue marinade, organic jerk marinade, and so much more. If you're interested in trying one of our seasonings, I'll make sure to have the link right here, and the link will also be in the description below. Now that we have mixed everything together and we have a great consistency that we like, we are going to add 1 more cup of the heavy whipping cream and a little bit of more cheese and continue mixing it until you get a great consistency that you like. Now that we are done mixing everything together, now we are going to start placing it on the baking tray so that we can bake it under the oven. One tip about this, guys, when I am making oven baked mac and cheese, I plate it in layers. What I mean is I will add 1 layer of the mac and cheese, add a little bit of the heavy whipping cream, add more cheese, and add another layer, and repeat the same process until we sprinkle a little bit of cheese all the way on the top so that we can get that crispy topping that we like. Then, as I mentioned, I'm going to add the heavy whipping cream, and we are going to continue the same process until we fill it to the top. And now I'm just adding another layer, and we are going to continue the same process until we fill it to the top. Do not overfill because you don't want it to spill in the oven so that it doesn't start smoking around, because you don't want to create a mess. And when we get to the top, I make sure I align it well. I add more cheese and I add a little bit more of the heavy whipping cream, and we are going to add some shredded cheese on top as well, and then it will be ready for the oven. One thing I like about making this recipe is the mac and cheese is creamy. And this is what it is looking like on the tray. Now we are going to put it under the oven at 350 degrees for 30 minutes. Make sure you keep looking at it until the top is lightly golden. Do not overbake because you don't want the sauce to dry. Now we are going to place it under the oven at 350 degrees for 30 minutes. It has been 32 minutes to be exact. Now it's time to take it out of the oven. And here is the final look. It is still hot, so it's not ready for us to cut through. We are going to allow it to cool down for a good hour. And here is a closer look of our creamy oven baked mac and cheese. You can see the different color of the cheese. It is lightly golden, and the eggs really help with that nice golden color as well. I really hope you guys like this recipe. And if you make this recipe, please let me know what you add. Let me know what you'll do differently. I know, as I mentioned at the beginning, I did not have the Velveeta cheese, so I had to make do with what I had. And look at this. It is beautiful. I love when my oven baked mac and cheese are not too crispy or too brown. You can cut it through and you get a nice cheese pull. It is not watery. It is baked to perfection. And I let it cool off for a good 40 minutes because you don't want to serve it too hot. One thing I realized is when you serve it right out of the oven, it might be a little runny. So it's good to let it sit so it can cool off so the sauce can fully thicken. It has already thickened under the oven, but it's best to let it cool off. That way you do not burn yourself. Now that it has cooled down, we're just going to cut through it so we can have a nice piece. And look at that cheese pull. As I mentioned, it is not runny. It is baked to perfection. I really hope you guys like this recipe. And if you do, comment below. And I would like to say thank you guys for staying with me until the end. Thank you so much for your support. If you are new here, you have not subscribed, and you like quick and easy recipe, please make sure you subscribe to help support my channel and help me grow. Thank you guys so much for staying until the end. And as always, I'll see you on the next recipe. Bye now. cooking made easy.